Hello, everyone. Now, today I am so excited to be talking with Amber. And Amber joined the ADHD Thrive Method for Kids program to help her daughter. And I have honestly been blown away about how she's tackled it and how she's been so diligent in working to heal her daughter's ADHD symptoms naturally. And I really just wanted to spend a few minutes today to talk with her so that you could hear her story too. So welcome, Amber.
Hi. Hiya, guys. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I really appreciate it. So let's just dive in. Why did you join the program? What were you struggling with your daughter? Tell us a little bit about your story.
We struggled for years, with the diagnosis of ADHD. And I was just getting so frustrated, going to the doctors, appointment after appointment, saying, this is not working. I mean, she's so hyper. We can't even get her to sit down. We can't even get her to sleep more than 2 or 3 hours at a time. Something else is going on. There has to be something deeper. And every time I would go to the doctors, it was just one prescription after another.
Mhm.
Oh, let's change this, let's try this. And as a parent, this is the first time I've ever dealt with anything like this. I just listened and okay, well, we'll try this, we'll try that. And I just got so frustrated at the last prescription that they actually put her on was Haldol. Not even, and I, as a parent, didn't even kind of question, what it was. And then looking into it, I realized it was more of an antipsychotic.
Mhm.
And I said, wait a minute, this is not what I'm telling you whatsoever. So it made me, kind of do more research as to what I needed to do. And then that's when I found your program through Facebook.
Mm.
And I started looking into it and I'm like, this is going to give me more answers.
Yeah.
And once we get those answers, maybe we can figure out, some other way of doing this because I'm tired of what the doctors are telling me.
Yeah, look, that's such a common story that I hear from so many parents, and even myself that I went through with my son. I mean, he was on, 3 medications and they wanted to put him on a fourth one to treat the symptoms of the other. And that's the only option that most families are presented with. So, thanks for sharing that. And, hopefully people listening will, know that they're not alone in that story as well. Now, before you joined the program, were there any sort of barriers or fears or reservations about joining the program that you had to overcome?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I got the information, I was kind of hesitant at first, getting rid of all medications completely, especially because that's what I was told, right from the jump. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So I was kind of nervous in the beginning, especially, if you're going to spend, money to do this. I wanted to make sure if I was spending money that it would be something that actually helped because I had, like I said
Mhm.
before, I had spent so much money on prescription after prescription and it didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I did have reservations asking myself, is the money that I'm going to spend to do this, is it going to make the change or give me the change that we want to see and give, us answers for her ADHD. But after joining it, we got a lot of answers. You can give more detail with, those test results that we got so many answers that the doctors never once thought about, testing for or looking for. And it was the best money that, we've ever spent.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Now, we all know there are ongoing challenges when you have a kid with ADHD. What are some of the challenges you had to overcome, going through the program? For example, picky eating or whatever it may be. How did you overcome these challenges?
Honestly, and my biggest challenge was just getting everybody else on board. Uh,
Hmm.
we are already, pretty healthy eaters, ourselves. So when I first started and, we were talking about just eliminating those few things, to us, that wasn't a huge step, but other family who, she would go visit regularly, it was no big deal for them to, get, McDonald's or Wendy's. That
Hmm.
was just a daily thing. So to get other family members on board was our biggest challenge.
Yes.
But to be honest, the whole thing with COVID actually benefited us more than anything, because no one knew what was going on. So we were literally in a house 3 or 4 months with nobody else around. So it was easy for us in that 3 to 4 months to just dive in 100%. And we didn't have anybody else, giving her food. So, and then once my husband saw how good the results were, his mother started noticing too, and then would start asking where she could buy gluten-free this or gluten-free that.
Yeah.
So it really helped in those few months, us just diving in and doing it. And then everyone else being able to see, what a difference it made. So then they were more willing to listen to, what I was saying about, no, she can't have this, can't have, whereas before they thought, oh no, we can give her whatever you want. You just, give her a pill and she'll be okay. So that was our biggest challenge. Just, and she wasn't really a picky eater. So that wasn't difficult, but I do know, like a lot of kids, they have very difficult, swallowing pills.
Yes.
She does still take multiple supplements. And for some kids, that's very difficult. But I thought the biggest thing was you saying, just put it in all the smoothies.
Yes.
And we do a lot of stuff with smoothies on a weekly basis. And, it tastes like fruit or it tastes like berries. So there's, no issues. You just put it in there. You can open up a couple of the capsules, dump it in, and it's good to go. And they have no idea that you added all that other stuff in there, and it works like magic.
Totally. And so all of these challenges that you're saying, they are so common, family members, picky eating, taking capsules, but, we work through all of that, in the program. And it is so true that when people start to see the changes, that's when they go, maybe this method does work.
Yeah.
So it is very, very common. We even have a grandparents guide in the program to explain to the grandparents, what you're doing and why you're doing it and how they can help you. So now tell us, what success have you seen while going through the program? Tell us all of the improvements you've seen.
It's a complete 360. I mean, we have a daughter that now sleeps 9 to 10 hours a day, whereas before we couldn't even get her to sleep 2 to 3. And we were constantly giving, recommended melatonin or, a soak in Epsom salts or rub magnesium on our feet. And we were doing all of those things and still got no results. And as soon as we, did this course and we followed your guidelines, she's sleeping 9 or 10 hours a day. She's actually gained 15 pounds. I mean, when she was at the doctor, she was all like super, super thin. And they kept asking, why she wasn't gaining weight, but it was all the medications that they had her on.
Yeah.
We were able to finally get her off. So now she's, at a healthy weight. She was on an IEP for school because of so many behavioral issues and challenges and getting, D's and F's. And we just finished the semester with her getting A's and B's. And the teacher saying that, she's a blessing to have in class. So it's been a complete 360 in her attitude. The hyperactivity is, non-existent. I mean, we still have challenges with her anxiety and her wanting to kind of be in control, but nothing that we can't handle by just talking to her about it and her going, oh, okay, and recognizing and maybe trying to change how she approaches things, but no issues anymore with like the outbursts or the the hyperactivity or her not being able to sit still. She enjoys now listening and focusing to the teachers that are trying to teach her in school.
Amber, that is amazing. I hadn't spoken to you and I didn't know some of that stuff. So that is amazing. And it is a testament to everything that you've done and that you've pushed through. And, it's not easy, but you're the one that's been there and that has been executing those changes, and you've done that for her. And that is amazing. And you totally need to, and everyone around you needs to give you credit, because that is amazing. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, the family is very excited that she now has friends. I know that's something that is probably, an odd thing to say, but
it's not,
she would never, no one would ever want to be around her because they never knew how she would react or, what she would say. And now she probably has like 6 girls that she's really close to, that she talks to, almost on a daily basis, either outside of school or after school, that, this is something that we finally are getting to experience for the first time, because she is able to control, her moods or her regulations. And she's making friends and having a much better experience at school.
And that's probably the best thing out of anything. I've got so many families that come to me that, say that their kids don't have any friends. The social interaction's so hard.
Oh, yeah.
But that on its own, without anything else, is just like worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact that she's able to, I used to cringe when we would go to a birthday party or go here or there, the kids would come over, because I always knew there would be an argument. There would be some kind of scenario, there would be an outburst. And no matter, what we did to try to intervene or to prevent it, we always knew there was going to be something that happened that, made somebody mad. So it's been very nice the past, 2-3 months of her being able to go outside, and she's outside playing with several of the neighbors with no issues, having no problems. And the best thing is, people that we haven't really seen a lot of people with everything going on, and people asking, what did you do? She's a completely different person. And, it's just, I'm like, it was all about her diet, and it's all about, and not even the diet, because like I said, we ate, so healthy, but with everything that was going on with her, and the supplements that she's on now have truly just been the difference in, in her behavior. So, I continue, do the supplements for as long as we have to for life. If she has to take them, then by all means, she'll take them. I look forward to doing, the next round of tests, in like a month or two, to see if we've able to, level off everything again. And, if we need to do anything further to change or adjust. But as of now, it's nice, knowing that she's able to go to school, or to know that she's able to go out and play, and I'm not going to get a phone call because, of whatever the situation. And they're like, she was an angel, everything's going great.
Amazing. Now, just before we finish up, I just wanted to ask, what is one piece of advice that you would give to someone just starting this journey?
Piece of advice. I wish I would have found it sooner. For 2 or 3 years, I was doing this, doing that. And I would say piece of advice. I mean, if anyone's hesitant, my only piece of advice is to do the testing along with it. I feel like the diet, absolutely, the diet does help and change, but when you do those functional lab testings, you're able to dive in so much deeper, to see exactly what's going on, in the gut, in the body, what's not working properly. So when you're able to get those tests, it's much easier to put together a protocol, to know what to eat, what not to eat, and what supplements you need to take. And once we got those results, like the first time I got the results, I was in shock, because it had so many markers on them, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, where do I start? But when you did that one-on-one phone call, it made it so much more easier. And you making the comment, oh, probably like maybe a paleo type diet, and I asked you about. And that's all we've done since then, is a paleo diet, and we've seen amazing results. So if anyone's, questioning about doing the program, my recommendation is do the test along with it. The test while doing the program, the results are so worth, the answers that you get, and so that you can know exactly, what we have to do in order to fix and correct anything that's going on within the body.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Amber. I hope that everyone has enjoyed today's interview, and I really appreciate your time, and kudos to you again and again and again for everything you've done for her. And can't wait to see what the next year holds for you. So
Absolutely.
Thank you. And,
okay. And thank you so much, Dina.
Oh, you are welcome. You're welcome.